Hello everyone again. Now we're going to move into the latter half of the book, really. We're in chapter 8 and we're going to skip chapter 9. Too much general information there. I don't really find it to be one that students really have a big interest in, and I think it's something that can in general be skipped. So we're going to talk about today chapter 8 and chapter 10, both kind of at a high level, more detail in chapter 8, but chapter 10 is a little bit more general, so I'll talk about some things in there. Let's talk about chapter 8 first. International Human Resource Management. So this is a chapter about if you were in human resources and your responsibilities were for the international people inside your company. What are some of the things that those people do? And also, how do they select the right candidate? What do they look for if they're looking for an expat position to put that person in a position in India or China or Belgium or wherever it happens to be? And really, if on a scale of 1 to 10, we're in a domestic HR role in doing this, the complexity is probably a maybe 4 or 5. If we do this into an international position, the complexity probably went to 50 or 60 on a scale of 1 to 10. You are responsible for the family as they go over, if that person is married and has children, or if they have a partner or whatever, that whole unit that goes over there, you are responsible for. So the safety, the education, the license, the taxes, the paperwork that needs to be done, getting all their things over there, which can be huge if things have to be sent on a ship and don't arrive for 60 days or something like that. So you are responsible for making sure that they get acclimated, that they have everything that they need in that foreign country, and that hopefully they are in a position to stay for the next at least 3 years, sometimes even more years. Okay, 3 to 5 is usually a typical time span for an expat to be in that position. So first of all, they have to hire the right person, and they should do a very thorough interviewing process. You have to make sure that person that wants that expat position understands that it will be difficult. It's not an easy thing. You're taking your entire family or yourself out of what you know and what is comfortable and putting you into a completely foreign environment where you may not be able to speak the language or read the language or know even where to go to the office or anything else. So it is a big undertaking, and you want to make sure you take the time to interview and make sure that really they have the right motivation and that they want to go into this position and they understand that it's not an easy thing. Also, you need to understand their family situation, potentially if they're going through a divorce or something like that. Probably don't want to choose that candidate just because they have so much going on emotionally, plus put them into a brand new situation in a brand new environment. Could potentially be an issue, but obviously you want to ask the candidate that information. So it really takes a lot of time to do this, but if you find the right person and they're willing to go and their family wants to, a lot of times this is a great experience for everyone. What's the number one reason why expats fail is because the family situation does not work. I have personally known several expats who came to Dow Corning, to Midland, Michigan from other places around the world, and the employee of Dow Corning ended up staying here, and the family went back home, and they lived apart for 3 years, which would be very difficult to do, but the family just did not work. They were away from everything, foreign country, schools, all that kind of stuff, and it just didn't work for them, so they decided to go back. So this is what chapter 8 is about. Very important, good information, good background. I'm really glad they put this in the book. I think it adds a lot of depth and detail. And then if we go into chapter 10, let me get there, I'm skipping over chapter 9. Chapter 10 is about business practices and negotiations. For this piece, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. What I want you to do is read my notes section in the PowerPoint slides. I have added a lot of information. I've added specifics. I personally have done negotiations around the world, and so have other colleagues of mine that I go and I've interviewed them and pulled information and got some crazy stories that happened from them, or just things that they might not have thought before, but once they went over there, they realized, wow, this is really different than how we would negotiate maybe in our home country, wherever that may be, and just not the United States, but anywhere around the world. So as you go through this chapter, just realize that every culture is different. Everyone, not right, not wrong, just different ways that have happened inside the culture of the company, or the culture of the country. So some countries can be an absolutely wonderful place to do business. Other places can be more difficult, but that doesn't mean that you can't do business there. It just may mean that business may be done a little bit differently, or it may take more time than you are used to in your home country. I know in China, things can happen very quickly. They want to contract on the spot, maybe first time they meet you. They're very entrepreneurial, will do things very, very quickly. If we're going into a negotiation in Korea, they will stand their position, and they will sometimes on purpose make negotiations extremely long to basically see if you're in it for the game and if you are really going to go the distance with them in this contract that they want to do. So it really interesting stuff here. It's really good background information, and if you're going to go into these countries one day and do negotiations, this book is a great reference. Also, obviously there's a ton of internet references out there as well, but we will talk about this as well this week and on the discussion board. Thanks. Bye-bye.